So, what we have discussed so far about innovation model, IP or some of those stuff. So, we will cover again with the publication strategy. That means not only for publishing papers, but also to do what is impact and how do you realize the impact. So, remember two key messages. One is from Bill Gates. I believe in innovation, and the way you get innovation is you fund research and you learn the basic fact. Yeah. When you work on a dairy processing, you learn the first basic fact, how to make yogurt, which your grandmother's grandmother is making since ages. Yeah. Now, this is one of the most important thing what I always keep saying. If you can't explain your work to a 6-year-old, you don't understand it yourself. Yeah. That is the most important, and we always try to make things complicated and always try to keep things as simple as possible. Yeah. If you make it simple, you will understand and you will make other people to understand. When they understand, then only they can use that information. Yeah. Otherwise, they will come, oh, it's too scientific, they will get away. Yeah. Now, so most important thing is when you are doing any work or anything is to do proper planning. I did mention this one, we do not plan, we start believing only in execution part of it. Yeah. Think of any of those weddings you would have attended. Yeah. How long it takes to plan, each and everything is planned. Execution is 1 day or 2 days, that is it. Yeah. But planning starts 6 months before or at least a year before, to book a marriage hall, to arrange the caterer, to arrange everything, accommodation, who will come, what type of stuff, right. So, when it comes to experiments, Monday I have to do experiment, and then you start doing experiment and then say, oh, I need this, then you are running pillar to post. Yeah. Then failed. So, experiment fails only because they are not carefully planned and SOPs are not developed. You just carry on. I have seen people taking a research paper and underline some of the stuff and goes into lab. How long does it take to copy it from there, put it on a computer and make your own SOP, what you are going to do, how long you are going to wait, and then don't deviate with it. Yeah. While doing so, you just make an observation, make a note of it, and then when you do next set of experiment, then you can do the variation. There is no point in changing while doing the experiment, so that you do not know what is making an impact. Yeah. Right. So, that is why consistency becomes important. Planning and design becomes important, and then once you execute it, and when you execute it, you took all the observation and then you monitor what went wrong and what could be done better. That is the way, keep improving the stuff. Yeah. So, that becomes very, very important. Starting is not a problem, planning, execution and taking a feedback or controlling what could be done better. Yeah. If you are doing any extraction, first one you just carry out one single extraction, then you see what are the problems, and then can you do 5 extractions together. So, that way you can save your time. Yeah. Starting a very big massive experiment in first place, or take for example shelf life experiment, you have to take a samples at regular interval. Yeah. And then suppose 1 day data is gone. Yeah. Suppose you have to go on holidays or something, then you do not have to remove everything, then you can keep some extra sample in case suppose something is you presume that shelf life will be 21 days, but at the end of the 21 days still the sample is good. So, to plan in such a way that to keep some more sample for further experiments. So, this becomes really important everywhere. Why you are doing it, what is your priority, yeah, or what are your priorities. Yeah, that is very important. Doing an experiment to extract a protein or doing an experiment to get answer to some question. What, when, where, who is going to do it, how you are going to do it. Any planning. Yeah. Why I am keep giving reference to non-research examples, because these are the ones which we deal every day. Even you guys coming in here for this particular course, you travel from different part of the country and then you all planned it, isn't it? Execution was just to sit in a train, buying the ticket, purchasing whatever you needed, your clothing, packing, everything. That took a time. Yeah. Travel time was 10 hours, 12 hours, 13 hours, whatever it took. That was the execution part of it, right. What you are going to do there, when you have to go there, where you are going, whom you are going to meet, and what are your plans over there. So, these all questions are important. Now, once you get model done, execution is done, then what worked, what didn't work. Yeah, what worked comes as a best practice. What didn't work, you improve that particular work. So there is always a continuous improvement. Remember, those who do work, they only do mistakes. Those who don't do any work, they don't do any mistake. Yeah. So now this is what I'll quickly go through, as I mentioned about technology transfer office. How do we create impact? Yeah. So we have a dedicated office everywhere it is, like TTBD, Technology Transfer Business Development, and all those type of departments, and are there or extension services, agriculture universities, they have a lot of agriculture extension. That is, how do you transfer the knowledge to your stakeholders? So how do you create an impact? Commercialization within the innovation cycle. The idea what you have, yeah, any idea in a form of project or so, you carry out a research work, yeah, you get the result, you create IP, intellectual property, or data for publication or for patent. Once you have IP, you commercialize that work, yeah, that creates job, generates revenue, yeah, starts the business, yeah. So this is one simple innovation cycle, yeah. But from idea to company cannot start straight away, yeah. Whatever idea you have, you know what, we can do this way, then you prove it, yeah, by doing the research. Then you prove it, you reinforce that one based on the results what you get. It may be positive, it may be negative. So that is all. When we study statistics, you know about hypothesis, null hypothesis, disapprove hypothesis. I am pretty sure everybody has learned about that one, and we never use it, yeah. That's why sometimes when you go and present your research project, nobody will start that my hypothesis is this, yeah. Nobody does it, but that was the fundamental way of dealing with it, and eventually you will be using it at some point depending upon wherever you are. That means what is the basis of your idea? So this is what innovation cycle means. One, now this is all funding, or this one all related to Irish context. Impact from research. You get additional funding. You got a research, you got your data, you discuss your idea or whatever data you have after protection with the companies. Oh, that's a good idea, we want to hire that, or we want to adopt that. So either you go and work in that company, a lot of time it happens, yeah, or you get additional money, or you get additional funding from different departments, yeah. There are a lot of different case studies, different examples are there from NIT Rourkela as well. Or you go for commercialization fund, that is get a money from the industry to commercialize your research activities. Engagement with industry to increase adoption. So if you have improved process, you talk to the industry so that you can accelerate adoption, so that they can sort out the problem. Take for example all the straw which is burnt in a field, yeah. So if you have idea and then is a better way of utilization, farmers' problem is they don't have a time between A crop to B crop. They want to get rid of it quickly. Even though you have a best process, or you have some way or the other recovering it, and then to prove it on the field, that is demonstrating on the farm, yeah. So that is quite challenging to convince other researchers, or to convince researchers, even the people who are going to adopt those technology. They will say, these are all kids, I've been doing the agriculture so many times. I'll quote an example. We were doing some extension activities back when I was doing my bachelor's in Pannagar. We were having extension in western UP, and then say, what do you do? We study science. So he asked a question, tell me this earth rotates? Said yes. No, that's wrong. I've been living in this house for 35 years. The door was always east, never went to west, yeah. So you're dealing sometime with these type of people, yeah. Okay. So same type of question, when there is a thunderstorm, when there is a lightning, and you have simple explanation. When a cloud hits mountain, the thunder lightning is there. So he said, no, you're wrong again. When it rains, rainwater touches the earth, it goes and gets what you call earthing, and then sparks happen. They say, no, thunderstorm happens, lightning happens without rain also. They say, again, such a big earth, somewhere it may be raining. Yeah. So you are dealing with sometimes those type of issues, and you come up with a new process. They say, oh no, I have been doing this business for 20 years, and you just started and you are talking about it. Yeah. So you have to convince in a most placid manner so that your message goes across. That is what asking people to adopt that. If they are not adopting, then the policy is changed, then they are forced to adopt it. For example, the wastewater, why all this duckweed, microalgae, seaweed, all these things are coming in? Because government made a law, any industry dumping the water into the river should have A, B, C, D specification. That's it. Then what will happen? Everybody will try to find a solution. Yeah. So sometimes things are made based on law is created. So your research either influences industry to adopt the practices, or you make a law. Other one is your own career advancement. That is, you start your own startup, progression, promotions, or listed as an inventor or invention disclosure form or a patent. Yeah. So this is what is for you. It's not that you do anything creative work, you don't get anything. You get what is there all for you. If you are already a researcher or permanent employment, this is what happens. Your career advancement or financial reward. If you are involved in a patent and patent is adopted by industry, you get financial remunerations. Or if you are your own inventor of a patent and goes to industry, this is the easiest and cleanest way of making money. Yeah. Lot of people, they earn a lot because of creating patent. That's what you have, that stuff, that you have a knowledge and you can create, use that knowledge to create innovation, and when you create innovation you make money. Yeah. So that's opportunities. You grow your network when you engage with industry, you get new funding route, what you have already seen. You achieve your real world impact. You are called scientist, but if you can't solve a social problem, then it's not a scientist. Yeah. You are a very good surgeon, you are a very good doctor, but you cannot treat a single patient, you cannot solve a single patient's disease or a problem, then is not a good doctor. Yeah. It doesn't matter how many degrees, FRCS, DPCS and whatever degrees A, B or C has done it. Policy promotion, career and promotion. What are the concerns? First one is confidentiality. If you work with any industry, you have to be concerned with the confidentiality of that information. Even if you have supplied the patent, you have sold a patent, you have provided an IP to an industry, you have to go with confidentiality of it. So most of the industry, they sign NDA. What is NDA? Not the political party NDA. Have you heard of this word? Non-disclosure agreement. Because when you have a policy, when you have a process, it has to be adopted in industry. They have to tell you their process. Yeah. So you know their process. So it is your responsibility that you do not leak that one to somebody else. Yeah. Like a competitor. So that is another problem. Managing expectation. When you talk to industry, oh, you can solve this problem by doing so. So immediately they start building things. Oh wow, I can make this much amount of money, I can do this. So they managing their expectation is also important. So that is very important to say what you can deliver. Say 4 things, do 5, good. Say 5 things, do 4, or say 6 things, do 5, not good. Yeah. Because we always look at the problems, not what is there. Think you have a nice 10-course meal, in a corner one recipe is bad one. Yeah. The entire focus is only on that recipe, not all the good things. Yeah. That's another one. Scientific independence. Yeah. Publication. Sometimes you are unsure whether it goes to industry, you are not able to publish it. Yeah. What is the benefit you got, even it sorted out the problem. Yeah. So all these things are some of the concern, but all these can be addressed. Nowadays the funders, that is public sector money, there is a big debate whether the public sector taxpayers money should be used to carry out the research activities at fundamental level or applied level, or to solve real life problems. Yeah. So they are having a lot of expectation to involve industry. Some places to involve industry for the sake of involvement. Other places it's a real involvement. Yeah. Real involvement, that means meaningful engagement, that means they are going to take the result, it's not only the support letter. Yeah. So these are the important things when we engage with industry. So, you are IP creator, you create IP, you disclose or you protect and you manage. So, it is not expected that I alone can do all these things. So, for that you have to take a help of a technology transfer office, but it is important to be aware of the process. Yeah. So, that is what you are creating by doing research. You disclose this one either by IP or by invention disclosure form. This is the policy what is adopted at our place, and it's very robust policy. Who owns the IP? Even the IP is sold or given to the industry. In Europe, if IP has been created by taxpayers' money, that IP remains with the organization. There is an IP policy, and you would have seen that all those discussions are there, IP transfer, intellectual property and all those things, you know, like you've seen in the media. Yeah, intellectual property, these are governed by international laws as well as national laws. Yeah, so these are all bigger thing. I just wanted to make you aware how it is created. So, support research, entrepreneurship, strategic collaboration, industry engagement. So, this is all how our organization or engage at Chagas, that means Technology Transfer Office, operates. There is a Technology Transfer Office also in NIT as well as in different institutions. Those guys who do, how many of you have studied this program, Critical Path Method or PERT? Yeah, Operation Research, you would have studied in under masters. Yeah, all those things coming in within remit of that particular department. So, I am not going to go into this in detail, but this is the way how we engage with industry collaboration, developing a new companies, startup or commercialization of that particular research activity. Now, coming back to the publication. So, in your opinion, who is effective researcher or who is called as effective researcher? Those who do research, everybody does a research. Even 6-year-old kid does a research. Yeah. You test it, like you buy 3 mangoes, are they? Oh, it's not sweet. That's also research. Yeah, everybody does a research. So, what does it mean? What is a definition of effective researcher? A. Second one, how many of you know about impact factor? Impact factor is of a journal, right? Citation, number of times cited. H index, field weighted citation impact, right? So, these are some of the parameters how what you see whenever it comes to publication domain, right? But now new system has come into existence, that is DORA, Declaration of San Francisco Agreement. Yeah, that means there is no value for impact factor or citation or so, but what is the impact of that research? Yeah, so these terminologies, they come in and they go. What remains is the quality of your research work. Yeah. If you focus now that I want to publish in high impact factor, why? If your work is related to applied research, how you will going to go into the nature? Yeah, right? The same way, even if it goes in the nature, it's having no value there. Yeah. So now, an effective researcher is defined as a researcher who has published an average of 5 or more science citation index or science citation SCCI papers a year, every year for last 5 years. Yeah, this is one of the definition. That does not mean today you started your research work, after 12 months you should have a 5 papers. No, right? This is over a period of time. Yeah, and that also depends upon if you are core into fundamental research, core in applied research. So, this is all one of the way looking into it. So, if you will see all the organizations, there is publication per individual. Yeah, it's not that every person will be involved in this. This is one of the definition who is involved in research activities. Yeah, and this publication also is your conferences, science citation index, that is all those which are indexed into a journal, not any journal. Yeah, it's called international journal or national journal. That's no definition called international journal. Yeah, then international, that means Pakistan Journal of Food Science and Technology and international journal. Yeah. Even Journal of Food Science Technology, oh, that's a national. No, it's not like that. The journal who is having is cited into Science Citation Index, that is Web of Science, where all the journals are there. Second one is impact factor. Yeah, that is number of papers a journal is publishing and number of papers cited from the preceding year creates the impact factor of a journal. Yeah. So, suppose year 1 they had 40 papers, year 2 60 paper, and year 3 100 papers are cited, and then impact factor becomes 1. Yeah. So, it takes 3 years for any journal to get an impact factor. Yeah. So, that means that is one of those criteria for impact factor. Citation. Citation is bit tricky. Yeah. It is something like you have 500 shirts, but you have only 5 shirts what you can wear outside. Yeah. So, citation is number of papers cited number of times. Yeah. If you have 100 papers, but only 10 of your paper are cited 10 times or more, H index becomes 10. Yeah. And if you have 1000 papers and papers only 12 papers cited 12 times or more, yeah, then it becomes 12 H index. Yeah. Now, the problem here is, it's not that you write another paper, keep citing all your paper. Then it comes a problem of self citation. Yeah. And now this is not considered as a correct activity. Yeah. And that leads to your blacklisting. Yeah. Or retraction of your work, and retraction is not a good thing. Yeah. And that remains on whatever you write, whatever you publish, remain on the public domain forever, for rest of your life. Yeah. You would have known that if anybody is said like, oh, he or she is going to be chief minister, new chief minister, what happens? Everybody just goes start looking into their old record. Yeah. Same way, the day you are okay, the day you become director, vice chancellor, or having a strategic position in any of the organization, straightway your old work will be taken out. See, the paper is retracted, gone. Yeah. So that's why it's better to have a right foundation, right ethics, and to have integrity in place when it comes to work. Yeah. So this is again coming back self citation, and sometimes EICs, they also have issues of forging the impact factor. That means asking or using the same journal to be cited. Yeah. Then it called self citation of a journal, and then journal is removed from SCI list. Yeah. So what is the bottom line? To do the best quality research, have all the backup data. Yeah. Because a lot of papers are retracted because somebody is trying to repeat it and it's not working. So you have different excuses. So if your backup files can be asked from the journal. Last one is field weighted citation impact. What does it mean? You will see it in next slide. So okay, I will cover this, and then when we go into that particular slide, field weighted citation impact is if you take all the publication published globally in a given area, yeah, and total citation, field weighted citation impact 1 if your work is of international standard. Yeah. And if it is 1.2, that means your work is 20% higher than the global average. So if there in a given area, for example, agriculture sciences, there is 10,000 papers were published and they were cited 10,000 times. Yeah. So this is 1, and then if your area of work in that particular domain is cited more than that, so that accordingly field weighted citation is calculated. A lot of different statistics are coming day by day for evaluating research and research performance. Now, when all these things comes in, this is very interesting cartoon to see where you stand. We all can classify ourselves into any of these 9 categories. First one is a big talker. These results have a clear implication for the cure of cancer in our lifetime. My work is so and so. This is a big talker, right? Slave driver, 60 hours a week just isn't going to cut it in the lab. You got lot to be done. You forget your name, spouse name, and all those things, right? Demigod, power, prestige, better job prospects. Yeah. Why you do this? Other one is control freak. Why didn't you use 25 millimolar of salt in a second wash? Yeah. Whatever you do, there will be always somebody to have a to control or to give a suggestion there. Science wonk. Why don't you try this newly reverse gyroprismatic amplifying DR technique? Yeah, that means he knows a better one. How many of have you watched Big Bang Theory? Yeah, in a similar way, like I say, oh, why did you try this? You should try some complicated technology. Laid back, make it quick. I have to go at 2 o'clock. Do it quickly. Yeah. Other one, psycho. What do you mean? You made a mistake. Yeah. Small town grocer, happy with his own niche area. No, whatever I am doing, I am happy. Yeah, I don't want to change it. I just have to extract the protein. I'll just extract only protein. I don't want to change my experimental plan. Yeah. Other one is rising star, exciting, right? That means trying to take all those different inputs. So you want to see further more detail, go into this science magazine, and you can classify where you stand. Yeah, or where you fall in self. There is nothing. Is there any other category which is missing? Yeah. So this is what you have to classify yourself, and then you decide whether you really want to be in a research or you better find some other career path. Yeah. Because at this stage we all do what people they suggest. Yeah. What you are doing? Engineering, science, engineering, science. Without that, nothing is there. Yeah. No, but that's not the reality, right? So, so you can classify yourself and see where you can improve in yourself. Remember one thing, if suppose there are number of hurdles on the way, yeah, and you are here, yeah, and your destination is here, right? So if you have lot of hurdles, you can maneuver around this hurdle to reach your destination, right? But if there is a very small stone in your shoe, you can't even walk an inch. Yeah, that means first solve your internal problem before talking about the external problem. Yeah, you need to know about yourself before you start worrying about the external problem. There is a saying, whole life I was cleaning the mirror, but dust was on my face. You've seen that phrase, yeah? Lot of times the politicians are using these ones, yeah? So these are some sayings which are really having a deep meaning in it, yeah? So now this is actually what I was talking about, field weighted citation impact. So if you'll see here, total research output, yeah, this is old data, citation count, number of authors, yeah, and field weighted citation impact, yeah, has been calculated. Now whereas if you go with the specific area E28, field weighted citation impact is 1.24. Okay, first one, it means total number of research paper published in, this is not nothing to do with the Chagas here, between 2013 to 2018 were 16 million papers were published, yeah, right, by 15 million different authors. So if you divide that way, you get field weighted citation impact, that's the global average is 1, yeah. So number of citations, so you can think, you get 10 papers, 20 papers, 30 papers, 100 papers, what difference is going to make, yeah? There plenty of papers are there. Now if you take EU, within EU 5 million papers were published, yeah, in the same time zone 2013 to 2018, and you can get it this one from SciVal, yeah. So lot of places, lot of institutions, the moment you apply somewhere, first thing what they do, they go to SciVal, look into the individual, where he stand, what is the area of work, accordingly they do rest of the thing, doesn't matter what you write in your CV, yeah. Then authors 3.5 million, yeah, 3.5 million is 35 lakhs, right. Field weighted citation impact 1.24, that means European research is almost 24% above than global average, yeah. And then if you go to like that, you can calculate for India and other organization, but this is only a global picture. So every country invest into science and technology so that they look scientifically much more advanced. They want more and more educated society and scientifically educated. So that is why all the money, how the money is spent on different research activities, all those lab based, otherwise every money can be used for businesses, yeah. So that is the way field weighted citation impact is calculated. Same way individual authors can be calculated. Yeah. So, I am not going to go into that one. The moment you go in, you will find it out what is published, how many people they viewed it, where the paper is getting cited. Somebody did the work in Delhi and it is cited in Chennai, national impact. If it is that one has led to a new area of research in South Korea or in Latin America, that is your trend setter. Yeah? That means you are creating a new area of research. So, all these things collectively are assessed individual how impactful the researcher is. It is not only to do with the publication alone. Publication is something like you have take it if you studied physics, chemistry and maths. In physics you got 40% mark, yeah, or take it as 33% mark. In chemistry you got 33% marks. In maths you got 34% marks. You passed, yeah. You got 100 out of 300, yeah. Other person got physics 10, chemistry 10, maths 100 out of 100. Whom you will choose? Yeah. So, this is what happens. So, you will go with the consistency, yeah, not with one particular criteria. Yeah. So, impact is not only with the publication, but it is too early for you to think about that one. Yeah. But just remember that fact, because long term vision and to do work. The crux of the message what I wanted to communicate here is just maintain the quality of your work with full integrity. That is the crux of the message. Not to bug down with the, oh, I have to have publication in this impact factor journal, I have to have a publication in this journal or that journal. Yeah? Even though you hear these things, that is important, but not to follow the wrong way of getting there. Your parent says get job, get rich. Yeah? You can get rich by getting working honestly. Another way is by robbing somebody or robbing the bank. So, which route is better? So, same thing, robbing a bank and cheating in publication or research is the same thing. Yeah? Now, why do we publish? First, establish your own ownership and a priority. Yes, I did this first. Yeah? So, you publish it to have your own, establishing your priority. That is why sometimes when we start discussing any of those one like novel technologies and all those things, we say who defined it first. Yeah? So, it is not sometimes to claim or write something without having proper proof. Earth is flat or earth is round. Who said this without going on to the moon? Based on certain facts. And then 100 people they get engaged in that activity to prove that he was wrong. Yeah? You do some experiment, you prove it with the data, other people they start disproving it. Yeah? So, that is the way research works. So, be prepared for criticism. Second one, certification, acknowledgement of the quality of the work through publication in a specific journal. Dissemination, inform your peer group and others. For example, you did the evaluation of wastewater across country, you got the data, you publish it to inform the public what is the status of the wastewater. Yeah? That is also important. You are not developing a machine, but you are creating a knowledge for dissemination purpose. Providing a permanent record of your work, making archives. Yeah? That means whatever you do, so you have a record. You write a thesis, electronic or digital form. Even if you go to the library, you will see the thesis of 1950s, 1960s. Yeah? And that too, even handwritten theses, typewrite theses. Is not like you used to have a typewriter. I know I have seen people, I have seen the thesis which is handwritten thesis. Big thick thesis is written by hand. Yeah? So, all those things are there. Now, things are much easier. Yeah? You just write a computer something wrong, erase it and type it again. Think if you are writing it whole page, you bought expensive page, then you have to tear a page and then write it again. Designation, publication record is obviously important, whatever work has done. This also helps a society, whatever you have done, so that they know what you created, to what level you stopped it, and how other person can gain from there and start a new work. Motivation, this is one of those survey. Survey was carried out among different researchers. They wanted to see why they wanted to publish. One, Dissemination 54% for first choice. Career prospect, if I publish it, I will get a job. If I publish this, I will get a promotion. Improved funding, publish in a specific area so that you get more funding. Ego, that fellow published in this, I want to do it in the same journal. Yeah, that's, well, these are the survey data, you know, it's not, it's been written. Patent protection, once you file the patent, yeah, you patent and then you try to publish the data from the patent, that is done, yeah, to show that yes, you have the authority and to disseminate another way. And other choices are there. Somebody, my supervisor told me to publish it, that's why you are publishing it, yeah. So these are all the data from survey. Now, how do you prepare, yeah, publication? I will go quickly on to these ones, these are quite straightforward. What definitely you can publish? Original and scientific result or methods, yeah. Like you will see, if you open any journal, it says it should be original, yeah. Original, that means it is not copied or it's just not thought of something, yeah. Reviews or summaries of a particular subject, particularly synthetic, basically work that advances the knowledge and understanding in a certain scientific field, provides a valuable resource. One thing you would have seen, people, they have lot of review paper written up, yeah, you see lot of reviews, and when somebody opens that review, they see like they never worked in that area, yeah. I have seen sometimes a review paper coming in from a country on alcoholic beverages which does not consume alcohol, alcohol is banned in the whole country, yeah. So if you are writing something, it has to be critical, it has to be this, otherwise it will be a collection of fact, yeah. So these are number of different criteria. What not to be published? Report of little scientific interest, but or out of date work, yeah. That means which is already been well established. If you start saying the sun rises in the east and sets in the west, yeah, so that is what sort of stuff is there. Now sometime it happens, we say, oh, this is already known and still paper is published, right, without reading the full paper. How many of you read full paper? No, abstract, that's easy, right. That is the reality. If you read the full paper, then you will understand what is there in it. Duplication or part duplication of previously published work. That's again. Preliminary result, yes, in some cases it is okay, but some cases it is not. Then you have to leave on the prerogative of editor to decide whether it is possible, is correct or not. Replication result, but in a different system, yeah. Analysis of vitamin C using new HPLC equipment, yeah. So this type of work. Ask yourself, where could I best publish these results, yeah. All these are questions which are part of this. I used to run as a part of as being an editor-in-chief of a journal, and then scientifically sound, scientific result, scientific narrative, yeah. So all these things what editor wants to see in a journal. Editor of a journal is not anybody's enemy, they take it as a newspaper, yeah. What news should go in the first page, what news should go in second, third, fourth, fifth page, and what news should be there, yeah. Is not anything is published, otherwise you have to publish apology. So it has to be based on a fact, yeah. So the same thing works for journal. I will go to the important part of it. So what different types of papers are there? Conference paper, you visited a conference, you write a conference narrative. Letter or short note, that means you discovered something and you want to communicate that one, that is rapid or short communication, yeah. It is not that your research paper is, oh, it's having less data, let us put in a short communication. It is not that way, yeah. Maximum word limit of any research paper is 5,000 word, yeah, including references and everything. So 5,000 word is not big. We have one of the review paper which is only 1500 words review paper, that too with references. 1500 word is how much? 3 A4 sheets. One A4 sheet gets how many words? 450, yeah. 400 to 450, that is the limit what you can type it on one A4 sheet. So 1500 word. Journal name is Trends in Cancer Research, yeah. So it's only 1500, sufficient enough. It's not like making what you call same thing again and again. This sentence is good in this paper, copy and paste it. Same sentence, same thing in another sentence. Yeah, it's something like I come from UP. UP is in India, and India is a part of Asia. Asia is having this much of population, and Asia is in this, and you moved from one side to completely off tangent. Full original article and review papers. So these two have the same value. It's not a short communication or a big communication. Yeah. So next one. Now this is a general structure of any research paper or any thesis or any report. Now a lot of places, even in what you call in thesis in certain institution, what is done is the thesis is written as the research papers published are added straight into the thesis. General conclusion, general introduction, and done. You don't have to write a classical thesis. So what all is important? Title, authors, abstract, and all these things are important. Then IMRD, that is introduction, material method, result, and discussion, and all those things are there in place. This is not only for this particular journal, but for any journal, because this is one of the publisher. You have Elsevier, you have Springer, you have different publishers, but pretty much this is same. So how do you start writing the paper? How you write a paper? What is written first? Introduction or result or material method, or what is written first? Well, I've seen some people writing straight away with start with introduction. Yeah. So always better to start from the center. Yeah. Whatever data you have, if you make a tables and figures of that particular data and write about that table and figure, what you have got. For example, never change your own style. Yeah. Make your own style of writing. I have number of researchers from different countries, different backgrounds. They all have their own writing style. What is important is take home message. Never to think that English is not that great, so I can't write a paper. No. If that was the case, then only England would have had the maximum number of papers. Yeah. It is not. Written English and spoken English, they are two different things. Yeah. Lot of people, same thing, written Hindi or write unspoken Hindi. Same thing, written Tamil and spoken Tamil, right? How many people can write correct Tamil or Hindi? We do all the mistakes. But when you speak, it's okay. When you talk in fluence, yeah, you would have seen the statement, how is things? Grammatically it's wrong, yeah. But when it goes in a flow, you don't notice it. The moment you go slow, you spot lot of errors there, yeah. So spoken and written is completely different, right? Anyway, so when you are writing, starting a paper, so these are pretty much standard. I am not going to go into these details. So if you have the data and you create a table or figure, write about that figure. This table shows this, X, Y, Z, and all this thing. And then compare that particular data from the literature. Go for extension of writing. This is what you observed, what others observed, why your one is different, and how it is different, what could be the possibility. Yeah. Once you write all the table and this one, then extra information, whatever is being done, can go back to your introduction as a part of literature review. Methods and material are already known. So you are, because when you start experiment, you have clear-cut methods and all. The problem starts when you start writing from the introduction, or worst case, start writing from abstract. Yeah. Abstract is written at the end. Yeah. So whenever we put a tent, we always put a tent from the center, right? Right? You know, if you go to camping and all, how do you start putting a tent? From the center and then you tie it around. So always start from the center and then take extra information here and an extra for discussion. So every element of the paper is completed. Then you have a critical analysis of your data. Otherwise it becomes difficult. You have introduction written and then your experiment goes in different direction. So write backwards. This is what it is, yeah. But at the same time you have your own way of doing it. Write figures and tables, your results, yeah, and then introduction, and then you draw all these things. Then think about the title, but first time is we start thinking of the title. What will be good? Let's put this title, yeah? Sustainable approaches in this, yeah? You started the experiment of writing effect of heat on phenolic degradation, and in conclusion you are writing this will solve the world's health problem, yeah? This is the biggest problem in summary and conclusion and as well as in abstract. Conclusion is on your data, on your study, not what will be the global one. If one or two such research can solve the global problem, 15 million papers which has been published even the last between 2013 and 2018 that have solved world's problem, right? So don't try to solve the world problem, just conclude what you have done it, yeah, right, or what could be the potential and what will be, yeah. So creating the niche area, what is already there. Sometimes the habit is there to hide the work, don't cite it, otherwise they will come to know, but you don't know how the system works, yeah. System is much more smarter. It creates a problem when we think we are smarter than the other person, yeah. So some guidelines for effective title. So what is there? The first thing is person starts reading a paper, oh, title talks about something and content is something else, yeah. Few possible word, avoid big complicated jargons, yeah. Adequate describe the content, should be informative and concise, identify main issues and finding, do not use technical jargons or unusual abbreviations, yeah. One of those video when we were having, it was abbreviation HMMA technique, yeah, high moisture meat analogs, right, no, HMMA technology. So, well, if you are writing somewhere, you create an abbreviation, leave it in the manuscript or title if it is there, development of high moisture meat analogs using extrusion, end of story, yeah. Effect of this, all this one. Just read through the title, you will see what is the title, what is the content. Then abstract. If you write at the end, it makes things easier. What is the objective of this study? What did you do? This was the main finding, end of story. When it says maximum 300, that is maximum 300. You don't have to write 298 word. Majority of the paper, the abstract is only 200 words or 150 words, yeah. So this is another important section. This is all what you all know because you write an abstract synopsis for thesis and masters, yeah. So that is all becomes important. Core introduction, provide necessary background, put the study into the context. Started, suppose you are working on biodegradable polymer, you start writing plastic is creating so much of problem, plastic waste is this, all this data is available, you keep writing there. One or two introductory sentences, okay, then come straight to the matter, yeah. Investigations are going on biodegradable polymer and then work has been carried out in this, your objective of your study is so and so, end of story, yeah. Material method, technique, and this is all sometimes guidelines are given properly or given according, you have to use according to requirement. Should describe the main findings, figures and table and your statistics as well, yeah. Sometimes statistics are added in for the sake of looking fancy. You don't have to do that. Need based statistics, need based analysis of data is good enough, yeah. Then discussion, sometimes these two part goes hand in hand, yeah. Result is there, you discuss it, but some places you have to segregate it. So that's why to start from the center or backward is much better way of doing it. References, that's another aspect. So it's how many of you use EndNote or different types of tool to write references? Yeah. So EndNote is easier to see the correct referencing written in it and then to use only the citation which are relevant to the paper. Sometimes you have to write your own citation because you don't want to describe the method again, yeah. So just be careful how you use referencing and is easier one is EndNote. You have a lot of different freeware software also to write references, yeah. And it is not good to have mistakes in the references because think the same somebody citing your paper and wrongly written. Nowadays chances of having wrong references is bleak, just because nowadays those softwares are available which takes care of those reference formatting. Yeah, you can change the formatting in 1 click or 2 clicks. Yeah, so avoid excessive usage of reference. Sun rises in the east, there is no point in writing references. Yeah, cheese can be produced from the milk, Tiwari 2023. That's wrong reference. Cheese was made somebody else. It's not that you reported in your previous paper, that's why you're putting in paper. That's wrong citation. Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah, and these are some of the things you should avoid. Then it will come automatically as a self citation. Yeah, so you'll be caught at some point. So that development of the bad practices leads to a bigger mistakes. So end note, that's different versions are there, and there is a Mendeley, and there are a lot of different formats are there to use e-referencing. Acknowledgement, again, that's obviously sometimes funding agency you have to acknowledge them, not like I thank my neighbor, my head of department X, Y, Z and all. That's, I don't know, it's I'm not here to comment on that one, but basically acknowledgement is only from where you got your samples. Yeah, from where was the source of funding, what was the conflict of interest, and all those elements related to that. Yeah. Now supplementary data, sometimes you load a supplementary data based on experiment, and if you don't do it, that's fine, but you have to have those one. Remember, fair data management principle: findability, accessibility, interpretability, and reproducibility or reusability. So this is very, very important to have all the data is there. And now this is all specific reference to a particular journal. Then comes, once paper is written, then comes the choice of a journal, where you should publish it. I know 99% choice goes with impact factor, but you have to see where your references are coming in from, where previous work has been there. Yeah, that should be the choice of the journal. There is no point in publishing animal feed related work into food chemistry, though food chemistry having a larger impact. Yeah, so that is not the case. And then where all is the journal peer reviewed, then comes your question, journal impact factor, open access. This is now, it's new thing is coming up, everything has to be open access, and sometimes the perception is, oh, you are paying it, so your paper is getting published. No, that's not true. All the Lancet work, Lancet is the premium journal, medical studies, they are open access. The choice here is the research which is based on taxpayers' money should be openly available for the public. Yeah, so that is one thing. That's it's not open access means people are getting published, because it is by law we have to make it open access. So institutions, they do have agreement with different agencies or different publisher that any paper goes in, it is having open access, so that it is freely available to everybody who is involved in science and technology. Yeah, aims and scope, nobody reads that. Saw the journal, nobody reads what is their aim and scope of the journal. And then author guidelines, intended audience in a mind, and then do not submit it to 2 journals and withdraw from the one whosoever gives you a comment. All the things are connected. Yeah, every journal is reviewed, every journal activities are watched by a certain agencies. Yeah, so never to do this mistake. Oh, let me submit one to food chemistry which is elsewhere, let me submit one to Journal of Food Processing Preservation or something, is a different publisher. No, I know a lot of people, they do it. The moment you click on their name, it will automatically reflect what is there. Yeah, so right audience, where do you read your papers or your research, journals, peer suggests or references published. That means peer suggests, that means your supervisor or your what you call it, guide or anybody is there. So remember, your supervisors are known as guide. Yeah, what does it mean? Who shows you the way. Yeah, is not the who will carry you to walk to that place. Yeah, so guide and supervisor, they are two different, remember the word. Yeah, they can tell you where to see, not what to see. Yeah. So, where your references are published. So, all these ones are audience related. Then final check, avoid silly mistakes, read through the paper, once it is finished keep it and read it after 1 or 2 days, you will find your own mistakes. Yeah. So that you avoid unnecessary mistakes, so that you have scope is correct, requirements are there according to guide to authors, affiliations are correct, you have simple spell checker to check basic errors, UK English or American English. Some places it is clearly written you need to have a American English, yeah, or some place it is clearly written it is this one. If it is not written, use one format, yeah, COLOR, COLOUR, yeah, you know. So, if you have one place you have color, you have another one is COLOUR, that is wrong. So, you have to have a consistency. So, I was in one of the PhD viva, I asked the guy that you have a color written in a different way in a thesis, yeah. His response was, yeah, because I was dealing with 2 types of onion, white onion and red onion, but the question was related to this, yeah. So, consistency is important. This shows the person who is reviewing it how interested you were in doing the research work, yeah. Then online submission system, I am not going to go into this, this is all there depending upon what journal is there and what is the publisher. So, cover letter, is there sometime written? It depends upon what way you are writing, and it's already there is a template for that. So, this is another one which goes along with the journal. So, there is any question related to this so far? Pretty much is what already you know, yeah, some form or the other. Now comes the review process. Conclusion is the main findings of the research work. Whatever research has been done, what is the main findings of the experimental results? Yeah, whatever results you have obtained, you have to just write about main conclusion of your research study. When it comes to abstract, that is abstracted form of whole paper, just like a synopsis. Yeah. So, that means 1 or 2 sentences on introduction, followed by what method you used, what was the result, main results you obtained, and what is the main conclusion. Everything is abstracted, yeah, that is in concise form. Writing whole of your review paper or research paper in 150 words, yeah, that is what it means by abstract. That is the difference between abstract and a conclusion, yeah. Sometimes conclusion is written, this study highlights so and so and this. So, they are starting with the conclusion part of it. Whereas, when you write an abstract, it says objective of the study was so and so. To address this objective, following protocols were established or following protocol were followed, and we used these conditions, and this condition was found to be the best one compared to A, B or C. Yeah. This study highlights X, Y, Z, right. So, the first sentence of each of those 5 sections becomes your abstract. Yeah. So, that is abstract, means abstracted information. Sometimes it is known as summary, yeah, summary of your work, or sometimes it is abstract, and then you have conclusion. Sometimes conclusion goes bigger one, in case of review paper, conclusion and future outlook, that is up to you what way you want to craft it. Yeah. Now, reviewing process, this is normal process. Paper submitted is desk rejected. Yeah. That does not mean the quality is not good. The thing is, it is out of scope, or they have published a lot recently in this area. Yeah. Other one sent to the reviewer, or further review needed, editor accepted, goes through this line. Yeah. Or else revision required, revise it and go back. Sometimes you have, anyway, I will talk about that one again. Sometimes paper from here without going to editor goes straight to authors, because it does not fulfill the requirement of the journal. Yeah. Or that is, there is a layer, when paper is submitted, it is handled by editorial assistants. They prepare everything, then it goes to the editor. From editor he looks into it, then he sends to other editors. Then those editors can send it to other associate editors, and those associate editors can find reviewer, or sometimes EIC handles paper directly themselves. Yeah, that can be any of those elements. Yeah, and then it goes to review process. You get a revision, you modify it, then again goes back to the same reviewer or new reviewer. Yeah, it can happen. Yeah, so that's the way publication system works. So this is somewhat looks like a reviewing process. Yeah, oh, I submitted the paper. Same thing, you put yourself as a PhD thesis. Yeah, some people, they're ready to attack you. Why did you do this? How did you do this? Yeah. So this is all is the paper accepted or thesis granted. So this is the way most scientists regarded a new streamlined peer review process as quite an improvement. Right? Means now things are becoming more and more open. Clearly you can see on a system what is happening. Reviewer comments are given, and it is also not required that you accept all the reviewers' comment. Either you respond or you rebut it. Yeah, when you rebut it and you put an email there with the proper fact, then paper can go back to revision. I have reverted so many times my decision. Yeah, because reviewer thought, a reviewer is thinking, no, that is not possible. Other person comes back with the backup data, then decisions are reversed. So if you are not rebutting it, that means you yourself are not confident. You are chancing it. So that is important aspect. Now this is really important process. Quality assessment of the importance of those findings determines originality, can potentially detect plagiarism and the fraud. Yeah, a better system is not been identified yet. So whatever system we have, we are following that. We can always comment on a system. We all know that something goes wrong, everybody becomes intelligent. Yeah, so there is no robust system. Whether you talk even about any system, there are always loopholes are there, and system is continuously improving. Some journals clearly written who is going to review the paper. I've seen, we know the paper goes to a specific person and reviewer name is also written. This paper written by this person, reviewed by so and so, second revision by so and so. It is written there on the paper itself who were the reviewers. Yeah, so that's why if reviewer is reviewing it, sometimes their authenticity, their own reputation is at stake. If they just say, oh, that's fine, he's my friend, I know him, let it go like this. Yeah, then reviewers' credibility as a scientist is also goes in vain. Your teacher are teaching you subjects. If they give you an exam paper, you say, it's very good. He was very nice teacher, he told us all the questions. Yeah, is good teacher for a short term. And other teacher, he didn't give you the question marks, he made you to learn, and he became a bad boy or a bad teacher in short term, but 20 years down the road, well, that teacher taught us properly. Yeah, so either you go for short term credit or you go for long term credit. Yeah, so that's why think on the reviewer side also. When it comes to the person, what you do when you write a paper, you suggest your friend or your friend's friends, somebody is there, so can you please look into my paper. Yeah, but again, that is not right thing. Yeah, so that's so what editor looks first and foremost, is paper suitable for journal, is research significant, is it is different to the prior work, that means what is already there, it is adding some extra knowledge to it, or is the same thing. Yeah, does the paper adheres ethical guidelines? Ethical in the sense you do a sensory evaluation and you pick 10 people and feed them without following the approval process, then it is rejected. You would have seen all those COVID virus vaccine theories, you know, like how many people were given this drug and what was the size, only 500 people it was tested and implemented. So all those questions come into the picture. So how it is being chosen from the reviewers database, people who have published already, suggestions from the author, but in majority of the cases this is not considered. Some cases it is considered, some cases it is not considered. Suggestions from other reviewer for editorial board, editor's own knowledge. Yeah, so these are the way systems are selected. What happens now when a paper comes in, straight away system will say who is this author, what he has published. Click on their name, it will say show what all they have published previously, how that paper is related to all other paper published recently, what are the potential reviewer for those ones, what are the matching work. So everything is there. So reviewer is not sending an email, click, 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 goes to them, everything is automated. Yeah. So it's very easy to find it out. And then again reviewer who reviewed it, oh, this person is reviewing for this author all the time. So reviewer is marked. Yeah. Marked with a small asterisk on the system. Be careful with the submission from this author, and that is on all the system, like putting it in red corner notice. Yeah. And then whatever you do, everything is looked into with magnifying glass. So even you have best work also, after 5 years it will have an impact on that particular process. Yeah. So reviewers, manuscript within the scope of the journal, sufficient quality, what you have done, whether research, analysis and your conclusion valid, that is very important. Yeah. Is presentation of figures table correct, aims and achievement. Yeah. Majority of the cases it is only reviewed what is presented. Yeah. Or if you have used old technique whereas new technique is available, those things are commented, existing literature cited appropriately, statistics, areas for improvement and ethical statements. So this is all what a reviewer looks for. Possible editorial outcome, desk rejection, reject, revise, accept. Yeah, that all whosoever has submitted the paper, you are aware of that fact. Reason for major revisions, faulty methodology, inadequate references, poor quality supporting figures outside the scope of the journal. Majority one is poor writing style and use of language. Yeah. That is one of the reason of writing a wrong sentences which makes meaning, which dilutes the meaning of the data what is there. Yeah. This is higher, A treatment was higher compared to B, but it was statistically insignificant. What does it mean? Yeah. Either it is higher, it is a lower. Statistic, you talk based on statistics. Yeah. Now again, subject of little novel interest, not generally available, poorly written discussion. So you can see majority of this one is your this, other one is 16, novelty and all those one. Yeah. Novelty does not mean that you have to use a new technology. No. Novelty means either in approach, same conventional extraction processes, ingredient dried, extracted, same ingredient fresh and dried, and to see the comparative one, you are changing some method to see whether you need 1:20 solvent in dried one, in a fresh one you need only 1:5. So using reduced amount of water, yield differences and quality, that is also novelty. Yeah. Novelty does not mean that you need to use new technologies. Yeah. Novelty is in the approach itself. Yeah. And what benefit it will add. So those all things comes into novelty. So what happens when paper is rejected? Some people they get depressed, yeah, or give out to editor. Yeah. You ain't gonna say, this is useless system, publications are waste and all those. This is common thing. Yeah. Considering changing the job, I can't publish is better, I should be working in industry. Yeah. Reviewing manuscript and deciding the reviewer had a point. Yeah. So best one is last one, right? And also seen the revenge. Yeah. If your paper is rejected, if I send the paper to that person to review it, definitely he will be bananas on that paper. He will go just, my one was rejected from the same journal, and he'll just be very fierce. They use sometimes very, very derogatory languages. So those comments are edited, or we just mark those type of reviewers. So you have to be careful what you write it. Yeah. Never to take a decision when you are extremely happy or you are extremely angry. Both the decisions are wrong decisions. Yeah. When you are very happy, you decide something which end you up in a problem. Yeah. Sometimes you are very angry, you take a decision that also puts you in a trouble. So once paper is rejected, leave it, and come back and see what is the comment there. And sometimes paper is rejected without looking at the reviewer's comment. Next paper is submitted to another journal within half an hour, yeah, and it goes to the same reviewer. Same story happens. Then you say, oh, I submitted to 5 journals, all 5 journals rejected it, yeah, but you did not sort out the problem, yeah. All along was cleaning the mirror, but dust was on my own face, yeah. Remember that phrase, so that's why you have to do this. We all pass through that phase. My skin is very thick. A lot of people, they come up with lot of different types of, oh, you rejected all the paper coming from A, B or C. That's not the case. 90% of the cases don't see who is there on the, who has written the paper, yeah. He just comes in straight away to see the abstract and read the conclusion. That speaks everything, yeah. You put lot of effort in abstract and conclusion is something else. So it's always I consider this is the best model to go with the frustum, yeah. That means this is the work what you have carried out. Your literature review is related to this. This is your introduction and this is your title, yeah. And all the discussions are pertinent to the work what you have carried out and your conclusion related to this. Otherwise, what happens? You start paper with this way. This was your introduction. Method was here, and your conclusion is in about something else. If you remember that cockroach story, or if you remember 3 insects story, yeah, this happens. Read any sometime paper, your work was effect of temperature or protein coagulation, and at the bottom you are writing the temperature is important element which can kill the bacteria, yeah, you know. So that it has to be a straight line like a full story. How do you feel? You go and watch a movie, title is something else, movie starts with discovering of a person and end up in a person becoming a millionaire, yeah. Would you like that movie? No. So that's why it is very important the conclusion, the end climax should be within the context of the movie, yeah, right. So that is why same thing applies here. So because these are just like a magazines, you know, take it in that way, the scientific technical magazines. So if you'll see this one here, I just mark the person, I authenticate, yeah. The software system is very, very robust. They know everything from where, what sentence is coming from where, crawled on the day, and from where it is coming in. You know, all those things are, it is embedded into the system, yeah. It is already embedded in a system where all things has been taken. So see almost 70, and this is excluding biography. So what did you write there? Yeah. Well, this is a worst case scenario. So everything whatever has been copied, and it can easily found out that whether it was your own part or it was somebody else's part, yeah. So this is very important. Software straight away checks it. The obvious question comes in, what is the level of plagiarism allowed, yeah. So if you are right, well, yeah, 20-25% can be depending upon where it is going in. If your results are coming in from there, then it's a problem. If coming in from the method, that is understandable. Sometimes your own name comes in as a 0.1, 0.5% because you have published previously, that is also picked by a system. So this system is used with a pinch of salt, yeah. Sometimes you have a thesis which is electronically available, you write a paper from there and everything is 100% copied, yeah. So that's, these things do happen, and then you have to cite it, this is coming out of a PhD work or presented at a conference or so, yeah. So that is all. Even sometime it is run, and if suppose it's coming, your own name is coming there, if it is in other public domain, that's different story. So it has to be used with bit of caution, yeah. I just wanted to put a worst case example. Sometimes you will not know why your paper is rejected first place. This could be one thing, and sometimes it is written the plagiarism 35%, 45%, yeah. Then response goes from here, oh, all the references would have been, no, it is, see, excluding biography, there is no references. With references would have, it was 94 or 95%, yeah. So what did you add there? Taken 5-6 papers, taken, oh, they also used the response surface methodology, they took all the resulted discussion on their part, changed the sample, yeah, rest all remains the same. So that becomes important part of it. Now, once it is rejected, that is not the end of the word. Rejected, one should not take it personally. Yeah? This fellow is this. He hates this institution. He hates this country. He hates this one. No. Nobody hates anybody. Yeah? So, try understand why paper was rejected, benefit from editors and reviewers' comment, and take advice seriously, re-evaluate it or resubmit it to the same journal and highlighting the changes, yeah, or if they are suggesting to go for another journal, go for that one, yeah, because there is also self transfer is there from one journal to another one, right. So, you should be like this. So, submitting a revision again, you just take point by point. If you have a major revision or so, do not think if you have minor revision, just do not do any change and submit it. I have seen papers rejected after R4, even after minor revision it has gone to major and major then rejected. It happens, yeah, because you did not address the reviewer's comment, yeah. Okay, so that's so this is all. It is nothing personal between editor and reviewer. They are just trying to help to get best research published, yeah. So, what happens after acceptance? You all know, you all go to the party, yeah. So, stand out of the crowd, be cool. Any questions so far related to publication? Yeah. Yes, sir.
Sir, how to write discussions if the work is not done before?
That's very, very valid question because there is always something there. Can you give an example?
So, like I'm just giving some treatments on isolating protein, in particular plant-based legume. So, they have isolated protein from legume, but no one have given the treatment, related treatment. So, how to interpret the results while writing discussion?
Okay. So, your main purpose, their objective was to modify the plant protein by using A technology,
yes,
yeah, and that technology has not been reported before, right. So, why did he use that technology? Because other technology it was modified, these were the issues, and by using this particular technology you are changing those issues. That is the way discussion has to be written, then only the novelty is there, yeah. So, that means you just say what are the properties required. Currently X, Y and Z use this method and these were the amino acid profile of the product or this was the digestibility of it. However, using this technology which works on this principle, make these improvement, yeah. Hence, this technology is much better compared to other one, yeah. That is discussion does not mean if it has been previously done then you question the novelty itself, yeah.
Sir, what is the difference between NOS rating and impact factor?
Which one, sorry?
NOS rating and impact factor.
Yeah, this is NAAS, National Academy of Agricultural Sciences, yeah. That is a national body which ranks different journals, yeah. That is a national body in India which ranks different journals and that is directly proportional to the impact factor of the journal. You will see the rating of the NAS rating and if you see those journals along with the Science Citation Index journal, you will see you can draw the straight correlationship between both impact factor and those rating. At the same time, certain journals are also included in NAS rating which are not there in Science Citation Index, yeah. So, that is what it meant. You have to see the journals which are having Science Citation indexed. That means those journals which are indexed in that category. That does not mean it has to be international one or it has to be national one. Like if the journal you are publishing it, if it is not having NAAS rating, that means that journal is no value, yeah. And almost all whatever having an impact factor, they all are there in NAS rating. Sometime it takes time for other system to adopt that journal, yeah. So, that is both, because critical reviews and all those journals which are having higher NAS rating, the same rating is there for impact factor of those journals.
Sir, I submit one paper on engineering properties of osmotic dehydrated paneer, sir. After reviewing, the reviewer said I compared my product osmotic dehydrated paneer with some seeds and dehydrated product, not a dairy product. They said compare with the related dairy products, sir, but not dairy product, engineering properties of dairy product, not existing research. So what I discussed.
So you just have to write a rebuttal there, because no such work has been there, yeah. But before you respond to that, check it if it is there or not, yeah. So just you have to just write a rebuttal. Prior work or related to osmotic dehydration or dairy product is not available, yeah. But when it comes to this one, osmotic dehydration, your purpose is this one, but salting of cheese is there actually, you know, like what you do dry salting of meat. Same way, dry salting of cheese, of mozzarella and different types of cheeses.
Yes, sir, but I'm do osmotic dehydrated. The
Drying
moisture
part.
content is very low, but cheese moisture content this is differ from.
Exactly. So that's why you just have to respond to give a rebuttal to that one is not available. Yeah. So that's why it's one way is right. You cannot compare apples with mangoes. Yeah. But if it is not there, you have to compare the relative field. If it is not there, you have to just eliminate it.
So the paper with more than 3 authors has more credibility in research work, or else even one person as an author has more credibility in that research?
Well, that's not that's nothing to do with the credibility. It depends upon the type of the work. Yeah. I have one paper which is having 36 authors. Yeah. That was guidelines to report non-thermal technologies. Yeah. There are 36 authors. Take any physics paper, there are more than 100 authors' papers are also there. Yeah. Whereas all the authors, they should have some technical input into it. Yeah. So that is the way to explain. Yeah, if you are having a paper name added in without any contribution, that is different story. Yeah. So that is all to do with what is the content inside. If you are collecting, for example, data of milk produced in across state, and everybody is doing it from each and every state, they collected data, then it will be multiple author paper. Yeah. So that's all to do with what is their content. There is nothing, credibility is on the research work, not on number of authors. Yeah. And that's why suppose you're just doing temperature effect on milk coagulation and you have 20 authors in it. What was their contribution? There it lacks. The first one is obviously the person who writes it or who has carried out the major part of work. Rest all list is decided. The last one is the person who is the principal investigator or the corresponding one. So these orders are defined based on every institution, policies are different. Yeah.
So what if the paper is rejected without any reason, like without any comments on first?
So that is desk rejection, either based on a novelty or doesn't fit into the aim or may have high level of plagiarism. Yeah. Normally it's not happening nowadays, like all the explanations are given. Paper is rejected because of out of scope. That's one of the major one. Because see, remember in a year or in a year nearly about total rejection from submission to the final one, in some cases 80 to 90% papers are rejected. Yeah. Because journal can publish maximum 300 or 400 papers in a year, and this much number of paper comes almost every week or every month. Yeah. So there is also a pressure what goes in, what should not go in. Yeah. Because journal itself has to have maintain its own reputation, has to maintain its own readership. So these are the criteria which leads. Mainly outer scope one comes in first. Yeah. If it is rejected from the desk.
So can we file a patent after publishing a paper, or which is the right time?
No, it's basically one it is published, that is it is in a public domain, and you transfer the copyright to the publishers. Yeah. So the IP is secured first, and then it is then it has to be discussed according to the policy. Then only it goes for publication or so. Because if it goes in public knowledge, then there is no longer novelty. Okay, so this concludes your publication one. Now we'll go through last part of this. Yeah, you don't have any question related to the survey question. How many of you filled in the survey questions, and who did not fill in? Do you want to see the result? Yeah. So, first question, how did we envisage the blue circular economy reshaping marine industry over the next decade? Yeah. By increasing efficiency of marine resources and minimization of waste. Yeah. Right. That is the major answer, first one. And then again others one there. That's good. By reducing pressure marine ecosystem through sustainable practices. Second question, in your opinion, what are the most promising application of marine resources in a circular economy model? All of the above. Yeah? Where is it gone? Sorry. Second decade. Yeah. So, all of the above. And then, do you think public awareness about about the blue circular bioeconomy is sufficient? How can it be improved? So, mixed answers. Yeah. That is expected. We all come from different domain. Awareness is sufficient. I would like to know who are those where awareness is sufficient. More educational campaign, same. Yeah. Awareness is growing, but outreach to policymaker business is lacking. Awareness is limited and target media coverage could help. What innovative technology or practices could have the greatest impact on achieving zero waste fisheries and aquaculture? All of the above. Yeah, that makes sense. That means all the technologies. Now, it says what the best answers goes on the top. That means advanced waste recovery, AI driven closed loop water recycling system for farm. Yeah. So, that means I can say that some bit of understanding is there of whatever was covered for 8 or 9 last whole of this GIAN program. How viable do you think algae and seaweed are an alternative material for biofuel and bioplastic on large scale? 50% they do agree, that is good. Yeah, it cannot be, everybody cannot agree with that depending upon thing. Moderately viable, unsure, not very viable, cost effective market. I would like to see who is that respondent for this. I can guess who is the respondent for this. It was me. When I created it, I responded all the wrong ones there, which is not correct. Yeah. So, I am really happy to see this answer, that what you already have it here, right? Yeah. So, that's nice part to see all this answer. Yeah. Then what challenges need to be addressed to ensure that marine biomass production does not inadequately harm aquatic ecosystem? Develop sustainable farming model, that is production, that is good. Ongoing research to monitor ecological impact and strict environmental regulation. These were the individual answers and you answered all of the above. Yeah. So, that is again good thing. What role should government play in accelerating the adoption of blue circular economy? Is establish clear regulatory framework. Perfect. Incentivize private sector investing through subsidies. Yeah. Correct. Providing funding for research and development. So, that means all are above 71%. That is, I like this answer. Yeah. We can do through all the ways. How can international cooperation be strengthened to address policy, regulatory barriers for circular marine industry? All of the above. Cross border collaboration, which is happening. Hosting global forum for shared best practices. That is why we need open access research. All the publications should be, which is carried out based on publicly funded research, should be in open access. For open access, it has to be paid either by government or by some agency. Yeah. Then creating unified international standard for marine resources. Nobody accepted that, that is correct, but all of the above, that is very, very important, because ocean is what is linked, is connected. There is no ocean is in isolation. So, bioplastic problem is a global problem. Microplastic problem is a global problem. Yeah. What incentives could encourage businesses to invest in circular processes? Consumer demand for eco-friendly products, access to government grants and funding, tax break for sustainable business practices. Yeah. So, these are the things, some of the things are happening at government level. Those who are involving environmental credentials to their businesses, they are getting rebates on taxes. the money invested in research and development, every €1 invested in a research, they get 20% discount on their taxation. So these are the incentives are happening. Do you believe the blue circular bioeconomy can provide significant economic opportunities for coastal communities? Why or why not? Yes, it offers opportunities, possibility, but proper training and resources. So completely agree. Yeah, those two responses. Unsure, no economic benefit, may be limited to large scale enterprises. Yeah. So are you all happy with your responses? Yeah. How can small scale fisher or aquaculture operator be included in transition to circular economy? By offering training programs, by providing financial and technical support, by involving them in policy making and planning processes. Yeah. So this one is basically a last point is a co-creation. Yeah. Right. When you involve them in making plans and policies, that's a perfect stuff. What strategies would you recommend to balance economic viability, sustainability in marine resource industry? Eco-friendly technology, promoting public-private partnership, establishing certification for sustainable product to increase market value. Now we have organic label, organically produced. Now slowly carbon footprint will come in, because when you book a flight you save this much amount of CO2. Yeah, carbon tax will be coming in. Then again the mark may come up with sustainably produced, or like a halal certification, all those things are coming on a product. Same as sustainability mark will be coming in near future. What ethical concern might arise from large scale adoption of marine based ecosystem bioeconomy? Over exploitation, unintended harm to biodiversity in ecosystem, displacement of small scale fishermen. Yeah, it's all of the above. Here again respondent was me. Yeah. So that's good. So I was expecting to have responses in all of the above or three, not the last one. Yeah. And last one was responded. I did respond to that one because I was just checking the questions, how it is working. Yeah. Now, how do you think consumer behavior will need to change to support blue circular economy? Reducing reliance on single use plastics, increasing demand for sustainable and eco-friendly products, willingness to pay premium prices for sustainability. Yeah, all of the above. Yeah, so that's perfectly perfect. Now next, in your opinion, is there a risk of over relying on marine resources for circular processes? How can this be avoided? Possibly, but risk can be mitigated through technological innovation. Yes, through a strict resource management limit on extraction. Yeah. No marine resources are abundant and can sustainably be managed. As of today, yes, but in future we don't know. Yeah. So that's why the responses are pretty much 90% and above this one. Now, what would a fully realized blue circular economy looks like to you in terms of environment, economic and social outcomes? Minimal waste, equitable benefit, all of the above 66%. Yeah. How can we measure the success of initiatives aimed at promoting the blue circular economy? By tackling reduction in marine resource waste, correct. By monitoring improvement in ecosystem health, through economic growth and sustainable industry, all of the above 77%. What role could you or your community play in advancing the principles of blue circular economy? All of the above. Educate others, advocating for policy that prioritizes sustainability, supporting local initiative for sustainable marine resource use. What should be the future priority? This was very, very tricky question. There was no all of the above or. So you 46% they think what should be a future priority to reduce waste or valorize, to reduce or valorize side stream, 46%, that's good. So you stop wasting food now from now onwards. New food and feed product 26%, agreed. Alternative packaging material 15.4, future protein 11.5, those who are working on alternative protein definitely. Yeah. So technically if there was another one all of the above, that would have scored the most. Yeah. I just wanted to see what are your priority area. Yeah. So with this, oh sorry, one last question. How can we achieve net zero carbon economy? Unlocking the potential of seas and ocean, using better what we already use, changing consumer diet. This was a bit surprising, none of the above. Using better what we already use, so the contradictory answer from the previous question. This, by the time you reach to this question, there might be a fatigue. Need to finish it. Without reading it, tick the boxes, yeah? Because the previous question and this question, yeah? So, unlocking the potential using better what we already use, that means reducing the waste, yeah? This question and this question contradicts, yeah? So, any other opinion or so? So, with this I can say that at least some message has gone across, yeah?